I hate theater. Well, it's so disappointing. You know what I do when I'm sitting in a darkened theater waiting for the show to begin? I pray. Oh dear Lord, please let it be a good show. Oh Lord in heaven, please. 2 hours is fine, 3 hours is too much, and keep the actors out of the audience, God. I didn't pay good money to have the fourth wall come crashing down around my ears. I just want a story, and a few good songs that would take me away. I just want to be entertained, I mean, isn't that the point? Amen. You know, there was a time when people sat in the darkened theaters and thought to themselves, my, what do George and Ira Gershwin have in store for us tonight? Or can Cole Porter pull it off again? Now it's just, Elton John, must we continue the charade? But you knew that when the show began, you'd be taken to a world full of color, glamour, and music. And then you thought to yourself, my God, when are they going to bring up the lights? Hello, how are we today? I'm feeling a little blue myself. You know, a little anxious for no particular reason, a little sad that I should feel anxious at this age. You know, a little anxiety resulting in non-specific sadness, a state that I call blue. Anyway, when I'm feeling this way, blue, I like to listen to my music. So I was going through my records this morning. Yes, records. And I dug about, and what do I find? But Meredith Willson's The Music Man. I had a craving for a young Ron Howard. But then I said, no, let's have a treat. Let's travel to the decadent world of the 1920s, where the champagne flowed while the caviar chilled, and the whole world was party. Well, for the wealthy anyway. So I dug about, and what do I find? But one of my favorite musicals, Gable & Stein's The Drowsy Chaperone. Remember, music by Julie Gable, lyrics by Sidney Stein. It's a 2-record set, originally remastered in 1928. It includes the original cast, including Beatrice Stockwell as the chaperone. Now, this was a full 15 years before she became Dame Beatrice Stockwell. Isn't she elegant? Let me read you what's on the back. Mishaps, mayhem, and a gay wedding. Well, the phrase gay wedding means differently now, but back then it just meant fun. That's just what the show was. Fun. So, would you indulge me? Would you let me play it for you? Yes. I was hoping you'd say yes. Don't you just love that sound? It reminds me of a time machine starting up. All right now, let's visualize. Imagine, if you will, it's 1928 and you've just arrived at the doors of the Roscoe Theater in New York. It's very cold. Remember, it used to be very cold in November. Not anymore. November is the new August. It's global warming. We're all doomed. Anyway, a heavy gray sleet is falling from the sky, but you don't care because you're going to see a Broadway show just for this. Isn't it wonderful? It helps if you close your eyes. Overturns. Overturns are so out of style now. Gosh, I miss them. They're the show's way of welcoming you. Hello, welcome. The meal will be served shortly. While you're waiting, would you like an appetizer? That's just what an overturn is, a musical appetizer. A cuckoo platter of tunes, if you will. Isn't it wonderful? Oh, what is it? Maybe a dance tune. Kind of rollicking. Maybe involving pirates. Don't worry, there's no pirates in this show. here's the moment where the music starts to pick up, and you're just moments away from being transported to another world. The curtain's going up. I cannot wait.
Yes, ma'am.
How do I look?
You look radiant, Mrs. Tarpendale.
I do love this dress so it never goes out of style.
It's a miracle, madam.
My dress, my fancy dress. I don't know why I'm wearing it, I must confess. My dress, I love my dress. Would someone tell me why I put it on?
Yes, your dress, your fancy dress. 'Twas such a pleasure airing it, restitching and repairing it. God bless your dress, it's one fine dress, and I will tell you why you put it on. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime. Madam, you're the hostess and it's happy wedding time. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will dawn. Wedding bells will ding-a-ling and we will ding along. Your dress, your fancy dress. We're very, very glad you put it on. Wedding guests have come.
Wedding guests are here.
Wedding guests are at the door and soon they will appear.
I'm Robert, the bridegroom. I'm here to marry Janet, the star of Belting's Follies, whom I love a lot.
It's best man George. I'm honored to be doing what a man. I'm Mrs. Tuttendale. And don't you worry, I have the whole wedding planned out. The key is organization. Each string represents a task that's to be completed. Pay the musicians, yell the florist, book the minister. The whole wedding's gonna run like clockwork.
Oh, is there going to be a wedding?
I'm Belting, producer. I lost my leading lady. I gotta stop this wedding or I might get shot.
I can't, Mr. Felty. I'll be a leading lady if I get my shot.
We're patient chefs.
We're patient chefs.
We cross our hearts for patient chefs. No bakery.
A bakery.
It's what we got. Aldolfo. My name it is Aldolfo. I am the king of romance, so I kiss a lot.
You are the king of romance, so you kiss a lot. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime. Wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding time. Someone hasn't come, someone isn't here. Where is Janet Van de Graaff and when will she appear? It's Janet Van de Graaff.
I'm Janet Van de Graaff, here to marry Robert Martin, giving up a life of glamour to tie the knot.
Am I late? I'm the chaperone of Van and Jandergraaf, maid of honor, friend and confidant, and all that rot. Where's the bar? A wedding. It's prohibition, madam. A wedding. Okay. Good
folks. All the guests have arrived. You have a bride leaving the stage for love, her debonair bridegroom, a hairy producer, jovial gangsters posing as pastry chefs, a flaky Corrine, a Latin Lothario, and an aviatrix, which we now call lesbian. And my favorite character, the Drowsy Chaperone. What much more do we need for an evening's entertainment? Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime, wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding time. Wedding bells will ding, wedding bells will gong, wedding bells will ding-a-ling, and we will ding along. Ding along. I don't even know what that means. Okay, now, I'll lead you through this record as best as I can. Now, we start with the message from the love-struck groom.
I just wanted to thank you all for coming. I tell you, I must be some lucky fellow. Why, who would have thought that I, Robert Martin, would be marrying a glamorous showgirl, and that glamorous showgirl would be willing to give up her successful career for me, Robert Martin. Now, if it weren't for Prohibition, I'd say let's raise a glass.
Hear, hear.
To Miss Janet Vandergraff, the most beautiful girl in the world.
Absolutely not.
Excuse me?
Groom mustn't see the bride on the wedding. It's bad luck.
I hope you heard that, because that's the plot. Basically, hang on for the ride.
Breakfast will be served in the Arabian room. Say, isn't it a little early today to be drinking, isn't it?
I don't understand the question.
Look, you keep Janet away from Robert. You understand you're the chaperone. That's your only job.
Aye, aye, mon capitaine.
Oh, Robert, who's my little monkey?
I'm your little monkey.
So the bride and groom are whisked away, and we turn our attention to the B plot, which involves the producer.
Mr. Bouncing!
Getting married and leaving show business?
Mr. Bouncing!
Doesn't she know I have obligations?
Mr. Bouncing! I could be a leading lady! You said it yourself! I'm useless in the chorus!
Kitty, for the last time, you ain't got what it takes.
But I've been taking lessons! Singing, acting, ballet!
Ballet?
I'm pretty good too! Last week I auditioned for Swanee Lake!
A little annotation. Kitty and Felsick were a couple in real life, Jack and Sadie Adler. Now, this is your familiar comic construct. A stupid woman and her long-suffering companion. Well, she appears stupid, but in the end she does something clever which makes everyone wonder whether it's just an act. The irony here is that Sadie was actually quite stupid, and Jack had to explain all the jokes to her. But still, she had a wonderful career on the stage. And at the time, the stage was the only place where stupid people could earn a decent living. Well, that was before television, of course.
Kitty, not now.
I'll pet for Mr. Felsick.
Not now.
Perhaps a nice profiterole.
Boys, I'm not hungry.
Perhaps we could give you something else to chew on?
Yeah, something that ain't food.
What?
Your confusion is to be expected. Although we stand before you in the guise of instant pastry chefs, we are also
And primarily,
employees of a certain individual.
A certain individual.
a certain individual.
Happens to be the single largest investor in Felton's Follies. He has sent us here
As pastry chef,
to express his concern about Miss Van Graff's impending nuptials.
specifically,
That if she gets married and leaves the show, then there ain't no show.
say, don't I know you? No, you don't. Have you been spending time in Toledo?
Have you ever spent any time in a coma?
No. But I have a cousin in Seattle.
Kitty! Boys, tell your boss this wedding is never going to happen. You have my word.
Oh, we'll take your word, all right.
But to go back on that word would be a recipe for disaster. Now I hope we have made ourselves perfectly eclair.
One can only hope.
You best gotta be kidding me.
Trifle much.
Don't start with me.
Okay, we can drop the pastry chef routine.
Alas, we garnish.
We're on the lamb.
Lamb's an entree, you macaroon.
Now, the gangsters are played by interchangeable vaudeville duo, the Tall Brothers, John and Peter Tall. Now, this is your typical Broadway gangsters, full of wordplay and stylized movements. Not very intimidating if you ask me, but unless you find dancers intimidating, which I do, but for reasons that wouldn't be appropriate to this situation.
We'll leave the matters in your hands, Mr. Feldzick. In the free time, make sure you browse the dessert carousel.
Try the Toledo surprise.
It's to die for.
Holy cats, Mr. Feldzick! They were gangsters!
Very perceptive. Now go powder your face. I gotta stop this wedding, but how? Oh, Lord in heaven, how? How?
I always thought that Momo was a little overplayed. Now, with the story well on its way, let's go to the groom's room.
Hey there, handsome. Show me those pearly whites.
Now, the groom was played by the dashing Percy Hyman. He was the Albright toothpaste man. Albright was hugely popular in the early 20s because it contained cocaine. It's true, it was the fifth ingredient down right after sugar. Well, this was before he was a huge matinee idol.
Now, don't you worry. It's perfectly normal for a groom to be nervous on his wedding day. It is, of course!
I love Percy Hyman. Now, some people say that he's a bad actor, but to those people I say, shut up!
Hey there, Mr. Mirror Man. Shaking and a-quaking, trembling like them afraid cats do. Something big be bothering you. Cold feet, brother, you've got cold feet. You can make them cold feet hot with a little rhythm. Young feet, old feet can be uncontrolled feet. Rhythm make them cold feet trot down the aisle. Cross the arches, they can learn to swing. Icy toes can jive. Wedding marches played in ragtime swing make frigid souls come alive and take that dive. Cold feet, schmold feet, turn them into bold feet. Rhythm make them cold feet hot.
Say, why don't you start back in your mud hole, you backstabbing worm? Now I have to go find another minister. Say, what are you up to?
I'm singing a song an old Negro taught me. A Dixie remedy for wedding day jitters.
You think you got the jitters, you got the easy part. I'm something of the rice, boutonnieres, and a mister. I have the weight of the wedding on my shoulders.
George, it sounds like you've got cold feet.
What do I got?
Cold feet.
What do I want?
Bold feet.
What do I do? Scold feet.
No! Make the cold feet hot.
All right.
5, 6, 7, 8. Cold feet. Cold feet. Turn them into cold feet. Rhythm make them cold feet hot. Make the cold feet hot. Make the cold feet hot. Make the cold feet hot.
Wasn't that wonderful? I like to think of Percy Hyman panting panting and sweating after a long dance routine. He's still alive, you know. I saw him on the news recently celebrating his 100th birthday. To say the growing years have taken their toll would be a grotesque understatement. They wheeled him out and he had that wide-eyed look that God saves for the very, very old on their birthdays. You know, the one that says, "Who are you? Who am I? And why is this cake on fire?" Anyway, he was charming.
All right. That's enough tap dancing around like a fool.
I'm sorry, George. I was just trying to calm my nerves.
Well, you could have snapped an ankle. Tap dancing is too dangerous. You know what I do when I want to blow off some steam? I'll roller skate.
Oh. George, what would I do without you?
What was I thinking? Oh, no. You can't go out looking like that, my friend. Here, put on this blindfold.
George, you think of everything.
Just looking out for you, my boy, and no more tap dancing.
Just ignore it. It does this occasionally. It will stop soon. What? What do you want?
You've reached my answering machine. Leave a short message after the tone, and I will get back to you at my earliest convenience.
I hate life because of that. Oh. It's like a cell phone going off in the theater. Hello, what are you doing? Oh, I'm at the theater ruining the moment. What are you doing? Oh, I'm at home. I couldn't get out, so I thought I'd ruin the moment by crossing. Let's just shake that off. Let's get back to our minds in 1928 where they didn't have cell phones. But I'm sure they had something of ruining the moments, like bugles or something. Now, we turn our attention to the glamorous Janet Vandergraaf as she lounges at the pool answering questions from reporters.
Yes, me and Robert met on the Lido deck of the Isle de France. He amused me with his father's oil interests, and we spooned, briefly. And then he proposed.
So you won't be returning to the stage, ever?
I shan't.
You shan't.
I shan't.
Can I quote you on that?
Of course. One more question. Yes.
Why in the world would anyone put olives in a Gibson?
How can you give up the full ice? We know very well you have grease paint in your veins.
Fixer, please.
Oh, Janet, dump the mug. Stay with the follies. I'll give you anything you want. Oh, fine. I'll put your name above mine on the marquee.
Oh, Victor, if you think this is about vanity, you couldn't be more wrong. I don't want to show off no more. I don't want to sing tunes no more. I don't want to ride moons no more. I don't want to show off. I don't want to wear this no more. The latest saucy was miss no more. Below my signature no more. I don't want to show off.
Janet, please.
Don't try to control me. I've made up my mind. And that's it. I quit. I'm leaving it all behind. I don't want to be cute no more. Make a gentleman who no more. I don't want to wear fruit no more. I don't want to show off. She don't want to show off no more. Read her name in the news no more. Page 3, get the glowing reviews no more. Gee, I don't want to show off. She don't want to show off. I don't want to show off. She don't want to show off no more. Off no more. Not me.
Please, no more attention. I counted to 10. And I'm through. Farewell. Adieu. You'll never see this. You'll never see this. Never see this. Never see that. Never see these again. I don't wanna change keys no more. I don't wanna strip tease no more. I don't wanna stay cheese no more. I don't care if you stop. I don't wanna be cheered no more. Praise no more. Grab no more. Touch no more. Love no more. I don't wanna show off.
She don't wanna show off.
I don't wanna show off.
She don't wanna show off. She don't wanna show off.
I don't wanna show off. No more.
Did I miss something?
Well, Mr. Felton, it is painfully obvious that Miss Van de Graaff has no desire to continue a life on the stage.
Can't you see? It's killing her soul.
Don't worry, boys. The show isn't over yet.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't do an encore.
I don't wanna encore no more. Give us that more. I don't wanna show.
That was Jane Roberts as the bride. She was the Oops girl, remember? Surely you remember the Oops girl. Don't you people read? She was a girl whose sexual energy was so great that it caused the men around her to have accidents. Dirty minds, spill their drinks and drive their cars into trees. And she would go, oops. Well, I'm not really doing it justice, but people ate it up. She did a whole series of films. Oops, the Oops Girl, Oops Girl Comes Home, and Oops Girl at Sea, which won an award for special effects.
Okay. Begging probably didn't work. On to plan B. And for that, what I needed to accomplish. Someone gullible, with loose morals. I need a, what do you call them, a European?
Blah, 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 blah.
In walks Adolfo, self-proclaimed ladies' man. Adolfo was played by former silent film star and world-class alcoholic Roman Bartelli. He was the one who later drank himself to death in his chateau in Nice. It was 5 days before they found the body, and by that time it was partially consumed by his poodles. Well, only partially consumed.
Excuse me, I don't believe we've met.
I am.
Adolfo.
You're Adolfo.
Yes, I am.
Adolfo.
Not the Adolfo.
Yes, I am.
Adolfo.
Funny, you don't look like a scoundrel.
Yes, I. What?
Why, I just overheard the groom say that Adolfo's a scoundrel. I just heard him say that.
What? Adolfo a scoundrel?
Those very words.
Adolfo is a scoundrel.
It's like I'm hearing it again.
This is outrageous. He's saying this to people, to beautiful ladies with breasts for making love. Why? I must.
You must take matters into your own hands.
Yes. I must take this groom and kill him.
Yeah! No! Don't kill him, just hurt him enough so he can't get married.
Show me to this groom. Wait.
What?
What kind of man is this girl? A big man? Well, a burly fellow.
He's big on the outside.
No. Adolfo, no fight, big man. Small, pale, wheezy, little dwarf people that Adolfo can punt far away. But no big man.
So you're a lover and not a fighter.
Yes. Adolfo is a lover of beautiful ladies. Some say I'm the king of Rome.
And you know what they say, the best way to get revenge on a man is through his...
Door!
No! The best way to get back at a man is through his...
Window!
No! Revenge back at a man through his...
There is no other ways, huh? I'm not Santa Claus coming down chimney.
Through his woman!
Ah, his woman.
Yes, Adolfo, you must seduce his woman.
His woman.
His bride.
Adolfo will make love to bride. That will show people that Adolfo is no scoundrel. Show me to this bride. Wait!
What?
What kind of woman is this bride? A big woman? Oh! A pretty woman!
No, she's a cat's pajamas.
Pajamas?
She's a looker, attractive woman.
Ah, show me to this cat in pajamas. Adolfo will make her.
Stop it. Okay.
Like a cat in pajamas.
Roman Bartelli chewing the scenery. You surely couldn't get away with a performance like that nowadays. Mature contemporary audiences are too sophisticated to enjoy broad racial stereotypes such as those. So, we've banished them to Disney. Let the children sort it out.
Yes, ma'am.
The pastry chefs have been kind enough to provide the liquor for the party. But remember, underling, we have to be discreet.
Yes, ma'am.
It is prohibition after all.
I'm aware of that, madam.
We'll have to use code words. Ah, yes. If someone asks for a glass of ice water, they're really asking for a glass of vodka. Have you got that?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you sure? Maybe you should write it down.
I understand, madam. A glass of ice water is a glass of vodka.
What's a glass of ice water?
Vodka.
Ice water?
Vodka.
Ice.
Vodka.
Well, that's settled then. One last thing to do. Oh, underling, might I please have a glass of ice water? I found our meeting with the pastry chefs rather trying, and I could really use a glass of refreshing ice water.
Your ice water, madam.
That was your vodka, you poop!
I hate this scene.
Now I really need a glass of ice water.
A glass of ice water, madam?
Yes, are you going deaf?
Would that I would. Your ice water, madam.
That was your vodka, you poop!
Now, as you can see, it's just a series of spit takes.
Your ice water, madam.
That was pure vodka, you poop!
Now, in some ways, the Drowsy Chaperone was quite progressive. For instance, a black aviatrix.
Your ice water, madam.
That was pure vodka, you poop!
And in other ways, it was progressive and rather stale in 1928. You know what? I'm just gonna skip ahead.
Where do you think you're going?
To find some lime juice, madam.
Lime juice, for heaven's sakes, why?
I'm going to wring out my eyebrows and make myself a gimlet.
Now, you're probably wondering what that number was doing in the show. Well, it's simple. It's mechanics. It's like pornography. Let me tell you what I meant by that. In pornography, the story is simplistic. For instance, how can I pay for this pizza? For the classic example. And in musical theater, they only are there to connect the more engaging, more longer dance numbers. What? What kind of society do we live in that we cannot talk about the similarities between pornography and musical theater?
In a few hours, I'm going to be Mrs. Robert Martin. Oh, my head is spinning.
Yes, life is a mad whirlwind.
Now, this is a very interesting scene. This is the only time in the show that Beatrice Stockwell and Jane Roberts were alone on the stage together. Now, Jane Roberts was an emerging star, while Beatrice Stockwell was well-established and a force to contend with.
I'm so full of apprehension, but I guess that's normal considering the circumstances. Have you ever been married, Chaperone?
No, I drink out of pleasure, not out of necessity.
Your ice water, madam. But I'm afraid we're fresh out of olives.
Underling, have you ever been married?
Heavens no, madam. If I'm going to serve a woman, I prefer to be paid for my efforts.
Oh, you two. I know it seems crazy to give up a successful career to marry a man I hardly know, but somehow, some reason, when I look into his eyes, his big monkey eyes, oh gee, I just get all woozy. And that's love, isn't it?
Not necessarily. The wooziness could be caused by a number of things. I mean, I'm woozy right now and I'm certainly not in love.
Now, Beatrice Stockwell was famous for her rousing anthems. She entertained and inspired all the troops up till and the Falklands War. Now, she was in her late 80s and her anthems didn't so much do as justice as Stupefy, but still, she demanded a rousing anthem in every show she ever did. You just couldn't say no to her because that's star power.
Really, Chaperone, you're not being the least bit helpful. If you could just allay my fears with a few choice words of inspiration.
Inspiration, really, dear? That's not my forte.
We'll see, yes, but if you just...
As we stumble along on life's fun journey, as we stumble along into the blue, we look here and we look there, seeking answers anywhere, never sure of where to turn or what to do. So we bumble our way through life's crazy labyrinth, barely knowing right from left nor right from wrong. And the best that we can do is hum the bluebird will sing his song as we stumble along.
Yes, that was quite inspiring, Chaperone, but I still don't see how that pertains to my situation.
Let me explain.
No, really, you don't have to. I get it.
It's a dismal little world in which we live. It will bore you till you've nothing left to give. 7 overrated wonders, 7 underwhelming seas, 6 excruciating continents, Antarctica. Oh, please.
Antarctica. Oh, please.
Still you mustn't let it plague you, this planet, oh so bland. Keep your eyeball on the highball in your hand. So we stumble along through life's crowded dance floor as we push and we shove. We live and we learn, and when we finally leave the bar and we see that morning star, we pull our bootstraps up and overturn as we stumble away through dawn blinding sunbeams, little knowing what to fight for them. As long as we can hear that little blue note, there'll be a as we stumble, bumble, fumble, blumble, as we stumble
She sings the rousing anthem about alcoholism. That's what I love about her. She doesn't worry about the concerns and worries of others. She just does her own thing. My mother was like that.
Yes, Chaperone, that was quite inspiring, but I still don't see how that pertains to my situation. How do I know if Robert's the man for me?
My dear, that's something you'll have to do yourself.
But I just don't know if he loves me.
Why don't you ask him? Why don't you say, Roger, do you love me?
It's Robert.
Oh.
And I'm not supposed to see him. In fact, you're the one that's supposed to be keeping me away from him.
Yes, and I take that responsibility very seriously. However, I'm just this moment feeling terribly, terribly drowsy. I'm afraid I have to go have a lie down. Now, whatever you do, don't go wandering through the garden seeking out your fiancé to ask him the question on which your future happiness depends.
Oh, thank you, Chaperone. I just have to know if he loves me.
Such a skinny little fool. Still I envy her. When will love come crashing through my door?
La 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 la! In Monk Saldolfo, come to seduce the bride.
I am.
Adolfo! Try not to think of the poodles during this part.
I am. Adolfo. And you are bride.
No, I am not.
What? This is bridal suite. And you are the only one here. Therefore, you must be bride.
Interesting argument, but I'm afraid you are a moron.
What?
Me? No. Bride! Perhaps I could take a message.
Ah, see, very good. Dear Van de Graaf bride, I must make love to you and transport you to a place of ecstasy. Sooner is better. San Adolfo, king of romance.
Well, you found me out. You've seen through my little ruse.
Ah, so you are the bride.
Apparently, yes. Take me out of this!
No, 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 not Adolphe, Adolfo. You must remember my name for when we are making love and you are screaming. You must say the right name. Oh, it will spoil everything. How can I make you remember? I'm sure that you have heard the name out loud for a ladies' man who wins the claim out loud for. Well, lovely miss, I am not same out loud for. I introduce myself, I am out loud.
Nice to meet you, shall we?
Not so fast, so just in case you didn't hear out loud for, I try to make it very clear out loud for. The lovely ladies always cheer out loud for. When I repeat myself, I am out loud for.
Understood.
I can sing it high, out loud for. I can sing it low, out loud for. I can sing it very fast, out loud for. I can sing it very slowly. I do it now, but it would take hours. Now that things you can remember my name.
I'll give it a shot.
Now who's the fellow that you see?
Adolfo.
And how should you refer to me?
Adolfo.
And who is it I'll always be?
Adolfo.
Now see it proudly.
You are Adolfo.
Now let me spell it out for sure. For all you lovely ladies in here the first time for some reason, because maybe you are hard of hearing or something. I don't know. It goes
by a Latin lover. Well, a real Latin lover, not a buffoon. And that's what I love about musicals. They tell you the moment of love. Spontaneous tangoing, falling in love at a drop of a hat.
Oh, don't you worry, madam. I'm getting married today, so I have to wear a blindfold.
A blindfold?
Well, say, who am I speaking to anyhow?
Why, it's me. I mean, me. From Fox.
This scene couldn't be more ridiculous.
So I hear you're marrying Janet Vandergraff, no?
Oui.
I hear she's very beautiful
Oui.
and glamorous.
Ah, oui, oui.
Is it true that she is an exceptionally broad range and excels in playing both comedic and dramatic roles?
Oh, say, I'm having trouble placing your accent. What part of France are you from?
The middle part, where they make the toast.
Oh.
You were telling me about your, how do you say in English? Fiancé.
Oh, that's right.
So tell me, when was the moment that you knew that she was the one for you?
It's a funny story, actually. We were standing on the Lido deck of the Isle de France.
Yes.
I was amusing her with stories of my father's oil interest.
And then what happened?
I looked into her eyes, her big, glamorous eyes. I felt all woozy.
And then you fell. And then you fell?
Yes, right on my keister. And I said, I guess I don't have my sea legs yet.
haven't left the dark.
Well, that's what she said. And that's when I knew it must be love.
And then what happened?
And then I said, there was a time I could stop at a dime. Forbearance was one of my talents. But since you've been around, I can't hold my ground. I'm consistently losing my balance. I'm an accident waiting to happen. I'm a mishap about to ensue. I'm the toy on the stair, the three-legged chair, the hand that's been caught by a shoe. When my two love sick arms started flapping, there was nothing my ankles could do. I'm an accident waiting to happen, so how be I happen to you?
And then what happened?
And then she joined in.
When men say I'm sweet and they fall at my feet, my heart doesn't beat any faster. But when you lose control, it touches my soul. So I'm bracing myself for disaster. You're an accident waiting to happen, a catastrophe destined to be.
That's me. I'm the rags in the cellar,
A broken umbrella,
a branch hanging loose from a tree.
I can see myself jumping and clapping for a minute less dangerously. You're an accident waiting to happen,
So hurry and happen to me.
And then what happened?
And then we kissed. I'm an accident waiting to happen. So hurry and happen to me.
Wait a minute. You just kissed a strange French girl on your wedding day.
What? Oh no. What have I done? Wait. Oh.
Well, looks a fake French accent and a fake blindfold has led to a terrible misunderstanding. Will it work out in the end? Of course, it's musical theater. Everything works out in the end. And nothing ever works out in the end in the real world. And the only people who burst out in the song are the hope to see the range.
Where's that belligerent foreigner?
Mr. Bouncing!
How long did it take to seduce one bride?
Mr. Bouncing! You don't need cheating no more!
Kitty, not now.
I'm working on a mind-reading act, presenting Kitty, the incomprehensible! Now think of something!
Well, I'm thinking of something, all right.
I'm getting it! Pick up some milk, a loaf of rye bread, and don't forget to shake your legs!
You're reading your own mind, you idiot.
No wonder why it was so easy.
Mr. Felsick.
It would seem that the wedding is according to schedule.
Now it's time you receive your just desserts. What do you say, partner? Why don't we whip up something special for Mr. Felsick here?
Perhaps a Toledo surprise.
Ooh, inspired choice.
A Toledo surprise? I've never heard that before.
No, you have not. Those who have are generally never heard from again.
We'll share the recipe with you.
First you chop the nuts.
Then you pound the dough.
Then you bake it up nice and slow. And then you got your Toledo surprise.
Can you run that by me again?
It's a very simple recipe, Mr. Felsick.
First you chop the nuts.
Then you pound the dough.
And then you bake it up nice and slow. And then you got your Toledo surprise. Why don't you say we give them a little taste, huh?
All right.
Hold it! What style? What grace? What rhythm? Open those fists. Now shake them. Now give me that recipe one more time. Da-da-da-da-da-da, go!
Chop the nuts, pound the dough, bake it up nice and slow. Then you got your
Toledo surprise.
Now sell it.
Hit the peach, peel the skin, mush it up, throw it in. That's the taste of Toledo. Toledo surprise. First you beat it up, then you sweet it up. When you heat it up, it starts to rise. Don't let it, it's a snap. Try it, folks. Whip your whites, split your yolks. Then you got a Splendido. Toledo surprise.
Say, you boys are naturals.
Honest?
You boys keep it up. I'll go work on the contracts.
Hey!
A 5, 6, 7, 8.
Lansing! Oh, what's going on here?
Kitty, I'm developing a new act.
Toledo surprise.
You're putting gangsters in the show and you won't put me in it! They're not even in the union!
You got it all wrong. This new act is for you, Kitty. And these boys are your backup dancers.
Backup dancers? Holy crap! Whoa, that hot Toledo gun! My libido good! Yes, Nito, trickery, yum, yum. Surprise! Scream supreme, break the pan, lick the spoon, flip the sand, make the spicy tuxedo. Toledo surprise!
Wait, Adolfo, he made the announcement. Wedding is off.
What the love of God, why?
Adolfo has made it off to the bride.
Ew!
That's not the bride, you idiot. That's the chaperone.
What?
The wedding is on.
The wedding is off. What? Robert kissed a French girl. Her name is Mimi. She's very beautiful.
I couldn't help it, Janet. She was just like you, only French.
Sweet mother of pearl.
Marjorie!
Yes, madam.
What is all this commotion
The
about?
wedding, madam.
Oh, I love weddings.
I'm afraid it's been called off.
Yes, what a tragedy. What a wonderful, wonderful tragedy. Clear the floor, boys. I'll show you how it's done. First you beat it up, then you sweet it up, then you heat it up. It starts to rise. Don't let it.
Oh, Mr. Fancy!
Toledo surprise.
Surprise?
Wait till it's ready.
Surprise?
Wait for the friend.
Surprise?
Wait till it's ready.
Now it's ready!
Surprise!
Make me push, make me shake, this dessert, make me cake, like tortilla. Toledo surprise!
Toledo surprise.
Toledo surprise!
Surprise!
Surprise! Surprise!
Why are we dancing? Our dreams are in tatters.
Yes, yes. Oh, but the tune is so infectious.
Oh, Robert, this is the saddest day of my life.
Bells won't ring, wedding bells won't chime. They will never celebrate their happy
that's that. It's time for intermission. Well, it would be if we were in the Morrison Theater watching the Drowsy Chaperone, which of course we're not. I hate intermissions. They yank you back into reality. One moment you're lost in a glamorous world of music and romance, and then bang, you're surrounded by tourists, twinkling in their candy wrappers, and nagging about the lack of women's restrooms. It's just cruel. I think you have to go to the bathroom now. You might as well go. I'll wait here for you. Go, hurry up. Oh, it's a power bar. I have a bit of a blood sugar issue. I have to eat small meals all day or I get jittery. You wouldn't like the alternative me. Believe you me. Believe you me. I remember my wedding day. I didn't eat breakfast and the ceremony wasn't until 4 in the afternoon. I do. What? Are you shocked that I was married? There you go. You shouldn't be making assumptions about people, should you now? I'm a very complicated person, you know. I have to pee now. I'll be back. While I'm gone, you can start listening to Act 2 of The Drowsy Chaperone.
And the American lady, no, see eye to eye.
But Emperor, perhaps a different outlook could change your point of view.
What?
Precisely. What is it about the Asians that fascinate the Caucasians? What is it about the Asians that's so nice? Is it the wontons, the egg rolls, the rice? Is it Buddha or Confucius and their excellent advice?
What is it about Caucasians that mystifies the Asians? What is it about Caucasians that's so odd? They call a pretty lady a broad. They have hair upon their chest and they only have one God. Impossible! What?
Sorry. That was from a whole nother musical entirely. I have a woman who comes in once a month. Can you say that? I have a woman. She's very good. She does all the cleaning that I refuse to do. But she has this horrible habit of touching my records and putting them in the wrong sleeves. Even though I say, no touch records, Carmela, no touch. I suppose if I spoke to her in more complete sentences, she actually stopped touching my records. But still, that was from another Gable and Stein's musical, The Enchanted Nightingale, a degrading piece of chinoiserie. It's about an emperor who's told by a magic bird to marry his American elocutionist and a bewildered other. He ends up building the Great Wall of China, a slap in the face of 4,000 years of ancient Chinese history. But still, it had wonderful tunes. Did you notice Beatrice Stockwell as the American lady? What about Roman Bartelli as emperor? He was a man of 1,000 accents, all of them insulting. Act 2 of The Drowsy Chaperone starts with this. A haunting lament of a very depressed bride. She is bathed in a pale blue light. She's standing on her balcony with a synthetic moon, which is ridiculous because it's in the middle of the day. Okay, now, you're gonna need to ignore the lyrics. I know it will be hard, but just ignore them. The melody truly commemorates with the bride's state of mind. Just ignore the lyrics.
I put a monkey on a pedestal and tried to make that monkey stay. And he did for a time, but he needed to climb and with other monkeys play far away. He left his jacket on that pedestal beside his tiny rusty cup. And I haven't got the strength to pick them up. Oh, monkey, 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 you broke my heart in two. But I'll always save that pedestal for you.
I'm just gonna need some brandy.
Come, my little monkey. Come, my little monkey.
Don't you just love it? The melody truly communicates with the bride's state of mind. And I'm gonna be honest, I do get a little bit misty when I think of the jacket lying on the pedestal and its long sleeves dangling.
Oh, monkey, 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 you broke my heart in two. But I'll always save that pedestal for you. Come, my little monkey. Come, my little monkey.
I love this part.
Wait a minute.
Who are you?
I'm Janet Vandergraff.
Do you need anyone?
I don't need anyone.
What about the love of one man?
What do I care about the love of one man when I am adored by millions? Do I need to be so gloomy? No, no, no. I can rule the world and so I chose. Gertrude signs and flowers to me every show. Sigmund Freud, he and Miro.
Now she really lets go.
I'm Janet Vandergraff. Ain't no nail that I can't hammer. Why give up a life of glamour? Life of glamour, life of glamour. No!
She's having a complete mental breakdown.
I'm an accident waiting to happen. I don't wanna show off no more. I don't wanna spread birth no more. Be the greatest on earth no more. I don't wanna, I wanna, I don't wanna, I wanna, I don't, I do, I don't, I do. I don't wanna show. I think sure, Janet, futuristic, pure Janet, millions will do just fine. But any future I could ever stand to shape includes just 1 2-time and cat who drives me Oh, Robert, what a fool I've been. I have this fool. I know now that I love you, but I've thrown it all away. I love you, monkey. But is love ever enough? Is love enough? I ask the stars above, is it the monkey or my pedestal? I love
Didn't you just love that? A little bit of Jane Goodall, a little bit of a Buzzley Berkeley. And that's another thing I love about musicals in general. When a character's in a crisis, they don't just whine about it, they sing. It's way better. See? This is what I'm talking about. You're happy for 5 seconds and then something just has to ruin it.
What a beautiful day for a wedding.
Shall I have the pews removed now? Would you prefer I wait until morning?
Now, I'm going to stop here because I don't want another ringing telephone interrupting. These are two vaudeville performers that have slipped through the cracks of time. Ukulele Lil and Knowles Fitzpatrick. I don't know much about them. I suppose Ukulele Lil plays the ukulele, but she doesn't in this show. I went through all my books and I even went to the internet, but all my research went to Tiny Tim's autopsy photographs.
Why would you have the pews removed?
The bride is called off the wedding, madam.
Oh, underling, never listen to a bride on her wedding day. Love is a very complex emotion, underling.
Yes, madam.
You can be very close to someone 1 minute, and the next, you just want to strangle them. Do you understand?
I'm familiar with the urge to strangle. Yes.
Ah, yes, that's just the nature of love. Love makes lovers worry, love makes lovers fret, but here's a fact on which we can depend. Just like long ago when Romeo loved Juliet, love is always lovely in the end.
Romeo and Juliet was a tragedy, madam.
Oh, I never read reviews. Love can start a quarrel, love can cause a din, but love has always been a trusty friend. 'Twas a happy fate for Hank VIII and Anne Boleyn. Love is always lovely in the end.
I remind you, madam, that Anne Boleyn lost her head.
Yes, she was in love. Love was good to Eve and Adam.
Here we go again.
Samson and Delilah too.
Good grief. May I pose a question to you, madam?
Why, yes, of course.
Why does nothing I say to you ever get through?
Don't mind if I do.
Love is always lovely in the end. I found that quite taxing, madam. Excuse me while I pour myself a glass of ice water.
Love sneaks up behind you. Love drops from above. But love would never consciously offend. Love has certainly been kind to me and my true love. Love is always lovely in the end.
But my late husband was a brute.
I don't mean him, you silly coot.
Oh, madam.
Love is always lovely.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Love is always lovely in the end. Love is always lovely in the end.
Now, wasn't that wonderful? But on some levels, that number pisses me off. Now, I'm going to say something here, and yes, I have been drinking, but love is not always lovely in the end. And often in the end, it involves lawyers. And another thing. And another thing. Did anybody else realize the sexual connotation of the title, Love is Not Always Lovely in the End? I mean, is it just me?
can't go to a wedding looking like that. I just don't know, Chaperone. Robert, I don't know what to do. Can you just help me allay my fears with some inspiration?
My dear, you didn't ask him?
I did, but I just don't know. But you haven't heard that the wedding's been called off?
Not your wedding, not mine. Oh, that reminds me, might I borrow your veil?
You are getting married, but to whom?
Ah, beautiful lady with baffled expression.
You are marrying Aldolfo.
I know, it's surprising, but when I look into his eyes, his big, clumsy eyes, I get all woozy. And that's love, isn't it? Yes, dear. That is love. Help me.
There you are. All right, I'm going to lay the cards on the table. I got a weak heart. I just can't take the pressure. If this goes on any longer, the old ticker's going to give out. Please tell me, is there going to be a wedding or not?
Yes.
Thank the good Lord in heaven.
Aldolfo and the chaperone are getting married.
What?
There you are. We have wonderful news. There's going to be a wedding.
We know.
You know?
Yes, we've just heard.
Well, who told you?
I did.
Well, how did you know?
What difference does this make?
Me and Mrs. Thornton are to be married in the garden at 7:30 this evening.
What?
What? Oh, yes.
Well, congratulations to everyone.
Say, what kind of cockamamie wedding is this? Everyone else is getting married except for the bride and groom.
There you are. Oh, Janet, I've been looking all over for you.
Hello, Mr. Martin.
Oh, please don't be that way. Can't you find it in your heart to forgive me? I mean, it is our wedding day after all, and George went through all this trouble. Well, I do love you, more than I can say.
But you kissed another woman.
Oh, yes, and I just can't seem to understand it. I know this may seem ridiculous, but when I was kissing that French girl, why, it was just like I was kissing you.
Oh, Robert, you were kissing me?
You mean, you're Mimi? Well, oh, that French accent was remarkably accurate.
Why, thank you. I developed it while playing Monique in Paul de Baguette.
Well, there you are. Before you do anything, think about this. No matter how well you play the role of a happy wife, you'll never, ever get a standing ovation.
Oh, chaperone. Oh, I'm just so confused. For once, can you give me some advice that is coherent and appropriate to the situation? Should I marry Robert?
Well, my advice to you is...
Okay, this is the part I was talking about.
That's why you can.
You can't make out what she says because somebody drops the cane.
That's why you can.
Does she say live while you can or leave while you can?
That's why you can.
I mean, it's Beatrice Stockwell. It may just be a cinematical quip. But that is what you think of when you're standing at the altar. Live or leave. And you live. Because you do love her in some way. It's not exact science. An arrow doesn't come falling from the sky and point to the one you're supposed to be with. But one day you'll phrase it as a question to someone. I love you. And they'll accept as fast as they can. And then there you are. She's standing at the altar with tears in her eyes and a $3,000 dress. And her nephew made the huff. And you can't just say, I was kidding. I was joking. No, you live. And then there you are, staring at the alien form in bed beside you. And you say to yourself, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? And then one day you say it out loud and there's all your arguments end in her eating disorder and your Zoloft addiction, and you're always redefining, reevaluating, and refinalizing until you finally lose the deposit on the house. And the relationship ends on a very ugly note, with your only copy of Gypsy flying through the living room wall and smashing. But in a larger sense, in a broader sense, it's better to then have lived than left, right?
Well, you can.
You don't know how many times I've listened to that.
Well, Chaperone, you do have a way with words. Yes, Robert, I will marry you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Mr. Feldzig, it seems like the wedding is a done deal,
Now you're in trouble.
and there's nothing you can do about it.
But there is. I found a replacement, a new leading lady. Presenting Kitty the Incredible. Okay, Kitty, focus. And show them how you can read my mind. My mind.
Kitty, will you marry me? Holy cats, Mr. Feldzig, yes, yes!
Isn't she amazing?
Well, what are you waiting for? You ladies go put on your frillies. We'll all get married in one big clump. That's how they do in Utah.
Well, George, I don't know how you managed to pull it off. 4 weddings in one day. I guess you're everybody's best man now.
I am. Si, senor.
Yeah.
I am.
Hooray! He's George, that's George, the best man, George.
I'm honored to be doing what a best man ought.
He's basking in the glory of a right well fought. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime, wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding time. Wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding.
Minister, you may begin. Oh no, I forgot the minister. Who the hell are you?
Tricks, the 88 tricks, queen of the sky. To Rio, I was waiting when my engine needed mending. I'll fix my navigatrix in the night and let you lovers time and not. So sorry to crash the party, folks. We'll have this fixed in 2 shakes and hot to Rio for carnival.
Wait! Well, the captain of a ship can perform a marriage.
Yes.
And a pilot is comparable to a captain.
Yes. And an airplane is kind of like a chief of the air. Some call it an air jeep.
Oh, shit! Yes! Wait, I got it, Trix. You can marry them on the plane while I'm the honeymoon in Rio.
A bride and groom in a chapel may bring a tear to the eye, but what a thrill I do in the sky. Bells are setting up, bells are setting up, daffodil sky. I do in the sky. We do. We do. We do. We do.
A bride and groom in a chapel may bring us here to the eye.
With rainbows bending before us and clouds meandering by, one can't be sure that
I do in the sky. When mountains set in a meadow, the bees and daffodils
just occasionally. It's just an old apartment with lousy wiring. Everybody, just keep it alive in your minds. I'll find the situation. Everybody be quiet.
It's the super.
Oh, God.
Hi.
Hello?
Your lights are out?
Yes.
Yeah, we turned the power off because we were replacing the breaker panels in the basement.
Yes.
So, we replaced them. But when we turned the power off, the breakers in all the apartments tripped.
Yes.
It happens, it's normal.
Yes.
So, I gotta reset your breaker.
Now?
Yeah, it'll only take a second.
All right, all right.
You know, I tried calling you earlier before, but there was no answer.
Yeah, I've had a little bit of trouble with the phone.
Here we go. What was that?
Oh, just music.
What kind of music was that?
You know, musical?
You like musicals.
No.
I love musicals. I go with my wife all the time. It's amazing what they can do nowadays. Have you seen Miss Saigon? They landed a helicopter on stage in that one. Yeah, you know, I kind of seen them all. I seen Cats, Les Mis, even Saturday Night Fever. But you know, I kind of like the movie better.
Oh, well, goodbye. Well, that's that. One note away from the show and it's ruined. Can I start it again? No, I can't do that. Can I? You have to see, it's so frustrating. I've never seen the show. My mother gave me the record. It was right before my father left. No, he didn't leave because of the record, but I'm sure it didn't help matters. But I know the spit take scene is lame and the monkey motif is labored, but it does what a musical's supposed to do. It gives you a song to keep in your head and lets you escape the dreary horrors of the real world. And does what a musical is supposed to do. Helps when you're feeling blue. As we stumble along through life's funny journey, as we stumble along into the blue, we look here and we look there, seeking answers anywhere, never sure where to turn or what to do.
I'm an accident waiting to happen.
Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime. Love, I am alone. And the best that we can do is hope the bluebird will sing a song as we stumble along till we fumble our way through life's crazy labyrinth. The best that we can do is hope a
Thank you.